Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dragon Ball Nation. Now today I'm doing an interesting discussion with Mike from Laughingstock Media on if Cell was a Super Saiyan. Mike, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey guys, it's Mike here from Laughingstock Media. How's it going?
Yeah, and as I said, we're doing a discussion on if Cell was a Super Saiyan, and this is something that a lot of people have discussed over the years in Dragon Ball and in this community on if he's a Super Saiyan. He has these Saiyan cells in him. We don't exactly have a percentage of how much he has. It's a decent portion. It does not make up the majority of his power, but Cell's character does have portions of Saiyan cells, and that leads people to believe with his power-ups in the series that he has turned Super Saiyan. And the first instance, I think, where people really get this is that when Cell is against Super Trunks, the Ultra Super Saiyan version of Trunks, Cell powers up to that form after saying that, you just bulked up, that's an easy thing to do, and he does the same. He doesn't really lead anyone to believe he's going Super Saiyan, he just bulks up into an Ultra form. This is similar, in a way it's similar to how Frieza bulked up, even though it's a little bit different, that's just his maximum power. And it can be looked at as similar to maybe Buff Boo, even though it's a bit different because he absorbed things. But the thing is that a lot of beings can kind of buff up, and I don't think it's really indicative of him becoming a Super Saiyan. Mike, what do you have to say about that?
Also, we need to remember that Cell is part Namekian, and as we see later in the series, when Cell is fighting against Gohan, after Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 and he's being dominated, he bulks up so much he becomes a giant, and as we remember, Piccolo has the ability as a Namekian to become a giant because he fought against Goku as a giant in the tournament in Dragon Ball. So I think that's definitely a part of his Namekian physiology as well as being Saiyan, but it never says that he's a Super Saiyan. And although, years ago, I used to think maybe he was, especially when he showed up against Piccolo and was so much stronger, but I really don't think it's Super Saiyan because, in my opinion, and I'm sure Josh will get into this too, the math just doesn't make any sense.
Not at all, and yeah, going off of the whole bulking thing, I think any strong being can kind of bulk up. Mike, would you agree with that?
Oh, yes.
I think it's just about key manipulation. He said it was a simple technique. He didn't say it was reserved for Saiyans or to Namekians. He says it was an easy thing to do. It was a simple, and he thought Trunks was stupid for even trying the technique. But yeah, like Mike was saying, the math, because Super Saiyan multipliers, even though people think that they kind of got downgraded or degraded throughout the Buu saga, which is up for debate. Regardless of that, people understand that the Super Saiyan multiplier is 50 times base. Now, if that were the case, guys, if Cell had turned Super Saiyan, I've done the math, and he would be around a Majin Buu tier character. That would be way above Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan. So I don't think the math necessarily makes sense. Even if he got a 2 times boost, he would still be much more powerful than a lot of the Z fighters, even though he already was. But I think he would still be around the same strength as Trunks if he powered up or not Trunks, Gohan, if he had powered up in his perfect form to a Super Saiyan. So I don't think he was really ever a Super Saiyan, and we kind of have to touch upon the whole super perfect form because he did say that he had powered up like Gohan did. Mike, would you like to throw your 2 cents in on what you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, after he comes back from the Zenkai, you could see that he does have the electricity, he does have the, he does seem to, at least in the anime, have this very similar aura, exactly the same to Gohan, and he says, oh, I've powered up like Son Gohan, but that never says, oh, I went Super Saiyan, it never says that, and the thing, too, that people need to keep in mind about this is the fact that despite Cell powering up, it seems like it's just the natural inherent abilities of Zenkais, because as I always thought when it comes to Zenkais, and I have a kind of theory about this, but to shorten it, I always thought that Zenkais allowed the opponent or the person who was beaten to near death to rise to the level of their most immediate threat. So with Cell, it was Gohan who was the most immediate threat because no one else could touch him. So after being blown up after fighting Gohan, he comes back as strong as Gohan, or at least around his level. So even though he has the electricity, that doesn't make a Super Saiyan 2. It just, in many ways, denotes power, because of course Nappa had electricity, and we know Nappa wasn't a Super Saiyan 2.
Right, Nappa's little arm break attack, he did have electricity, even though it was kind of differently designed. I did a video a long time ago that I'll link in the description down below on does lightning define Super Saiyan 2, and it's kind of just a statement of power or maybe instability. It's hard to pinpoint, but it's not really indicative of just a Super Saiyan 2 power necessarily. Me and Mike both agree we don't think that Cell was necessarily a Super Saiyan, but this is something that we actually, funny enough, before recording this, talked about that we actually both used to kind of discuss and almost think this a long time ago. I think it's something a lot of people in the community have actually thought about, and it's actually an interesting discussion, but the math doesn't add up. There's not really any evidence to support that he would be a Super Saiyan, even though he does have Saiyan cells. He doesn't really imply it at any point, aside from maybe when he says he's powered up like Gohan. But if he had gotten like a Super Saiyan 2 boost at that point, he'd be vastly superior to Gohan. It wouldn't even have been a close fight. So Mike, is there anything else you want to add to this before I close this video out?
I think that although Cell definitely has the genes of different characters like the Saiyans, like the Namekians, it doesn't necessarily make him one of them, because also at the same time, Cell was a combination of those genes, but also other things that Dr. Gero threw into the mix. So even if, say, Cell was 50% genes of Saiyans in terms of what they collected for him, it doesn't make him half a Saiyan. So he could take, the best aspects of different characters and stuff, but also when Cell was being designed, there was no Super Saiyan. So, I mean, that could even be a part of it, that they simply took the Zenkais and other elements of the most powerful races and mashed them together, but Super Saiyan wasn't even existing at the time that his cells were collected. So, honestly, I think that it makes sense that he's not one. I just think he was incredibly powerful because of the fact that he absorbed people, he absorbed the androids, and he had the abilities of Zenkais.
Agreed. Like, yes, Cell is not saying he's a bio warrior, a bio android. If he could go Super Saiyan without training or any of that stuff, that kind of just shows that Super Saiyan would be a thing that anyone can unlock as long as you're a certain power level, which isn't really the case. But Goten and Trunks, it's a little bit weird with them. But not much else to say on this, guys, because there's not a whole lot of points to bring up for either side. But I'm going to close this video out, and before I close this out, the one thing that me and Mike can both agree on, and this isn't really worth a topic or anything, is why did Cell never use Kaioken? Because if he could, he could go and learn. He knew the Spirit Bomb, he said. So the fact that he never used Kaioken, even though it's an inconsistency and obviously writing, never made sense. He could have used Kaioken. He had to have known it, and that's always something that's puzzled me and Mike.
I feel like in terms of abilities, Cell had Gohan he was edging out Gohan in terms of it, but Cell was so arrogant because of his power and maybe because of Vegeta's genes that he just forced himself into a position where if he was overpowered with the Kamehameha, he'd be dead. But Cell had instant transmission, he had the Spirit Bomb, he had so many different abilities he could have used against Gohan. And the fact of the matter is that he couldn't use any of them because of the way that he kind of put his back to the wall with that attack. So there was no real way out once Gohan actually overpowered him and he got distracted.
And the one thing I just want to bring up, because I know some people may say before I close this video out, if Cell did not know how to go Super Saiyan, and like we said, mathematically it wasn't really possible or plausible that he did, the only way I feel like Cell would have attained Super Saiyan aside from a Saiyan DNA is if maybe he tasted the Super Saiyan form from Goku when he learned its transmission, right, Mike? But he obviously didn't use it because of his power. He would have been much stronger. If he did taste it from Goku, he would have been so vastly above Gohan and everyone else at that point. He would have been stronger than Super Blue at that point. Exactly, because Gohan was around 2 to 3 times stronger than Perfect Cell. It's a little hard to judge because he had like a rage boost. But we don't want to drag this video out for too long, so I'm gonna close this off. Mike, we pretty much said all we need to say. Or do you have any other thoughts to bring up?
No, I think that, we summed it up very well. I think that, in our opinion, Cell wasn't a Super Saiyan. I think the evidence is in our favor, but it makes sense why people in the community might think he is.
Alright, and I think this was a great discussion, and, you guys can go in the comments and share your thoughts, and go check out Mike from Laughing Stock Media. You do Dragon Ball stuff, as well as what else, Mike?
As well as movies. I'm going to start doing Yu Yu Hakusho. There's tons of things that are to come on my channel, and more is always coming. So check it out. Don't forget to check out my Ask FM, which will also be in the description, and let me know what you think.
Alright guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later.